What is good? Osiris here, bonus segment, stuck in the middle. I need help in determining if I'm being fair when I look at self accountability. What I'm going to talk about here is Andy Ngo. 5 days after the attack, Andy Ngo is a famous journalist out of Portland, and he's done a lot of reporting on Antifa. There was reports on Twitter that he was out in the riots trying to get video, it looked like, dressed as Antifa, joining them, not participating in what they do. And that ended up outing him when they saw, hey, we're out here in Portland doing these attacks, breaking windows, whatever they're doing. And Andy Ngo was not participating. They didn't know it at the time. But if you're out there, you're not participating, they're going to look at you like, what are you doing? You're a phony, or you're not really with us. So then they found out it was him, took off his mask, chased him. And I want to talk about self-accountability. I think very highly of Andy Ngo. I've used his clips in multiple videos. I've learned a lot about Antifa from Andy Ngo. I think he's a smart guy. He doesn't do anything that's not thought out. This guy is playing chess, not checkers. Let me read some of the story just to give you a little bit more background. Andy Ngo said, I was chased, attacked, and beaten by a masked mob, baying for my blood. Ngo wrote, had I not been able to shelter wounded and bleeding inside a hotel while they beat the doors and windows like animals, there's no doubt in my mind I would not be here today. Andy Ngo goes on to say, I call on the Portland police and federal authorities to act on this before Antifa operatives hiding behind their masks succeed in murdering an American journalist on their watch. And I call on journalists and all those who believe in the First Amendment to join me in standing against the tyranny of those who use violence to terrorize, silence, and suppress the truth. And I'll finish with this paragraph. This is the second time in 3 years that protesters have attacked Ngo, whom they consider a threat to their safety because he regularly posts their mugshots and personal information to social media following their arrests. I digress for a second, this is all information that's public. He's not doxing anything that's not public. Ngo says he ventured back into the crowd while reporting a new chapter for his recent book, Unmasked, Inside Antifa's Radical Plan to Destroy Democracy. Publishers often ask for follow-up chapters to bestsellers. I appreciate that context because I wasn't even fully aware of that. I have to be consistent, and I'm not talking about legal responsibility here, but when I've talked about previous interactions that certain Black Americans have had with police and in the outrage, for example, Jacob Blake, I talk about he wasn't listening to the police. He wrestled with the police. Rashard Brooks had the same type of issue. George Floyd, same type of issue. That does not absolve police of doing wrong things. But if I'm going to talk about this stuff outside of the law, just as a citizen talking to other citizens like you watching this video, I have to take that into account. I'm not walking around with my eyes blindfolded. That might or might not be relevant in a court of law, but I'm just talking about accountability. Self-accountability. Ashley Babbitt, what terrible story. She served our country. It was tough to see. That video was brutal. Just like all, these other police interactions. All of them are brutal to watch. But she has to have why was she there at that moment? She has to have some responsibility. That was not a peaceful mob. I know some people walked up in and they were just looking around. She was right up in the door trying to get inside. That was not okay. You have to take some responsibility for that. That doesn't mean I don't have empathy. That doesn't mean I justify the lethal action of the police. I'm not really even getting into that. It's just, I don't want to say common sense. I'm just analyzing a situation and being fair. If I'm going to say that about Rashard Brooks, I'm going to say it about Ashley Babbitt. I'm going to say it about Kyle Rittenhouse too. I have not done a video on that. I might at some point. But he had no business being there. Now, I don't know what that plays legally. I'm not a legal expert. I'm not talking about the law. I'm just talking about analyzing something. And for me, looking at it, I have to honestly assess your decision. You have to take responsibility over your life, over your decisions. Nobody's making you do anything. And that applies to all those people I mentioned, including Andy Ngo. I support his work, and he does true journalism when he's in the streets like that. But he has personal beef with them. You heard when I read it, he's had 2 interactions now in 3 years. The first one was a serious one where he was barely able to get out of it. That it's beyond a journalism thing. There's a personal beef there with Andy Ngo and Antifa. They've got extra motivation to go after him because they have whatever. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying they have a personal beef there. And Andy Ngo going back in there for his book or journalism or the principle, that's fine. He's not breaking any laws, but he's not making sense to me. If I know there's a rally from a group that hates me going on in a public space and there's like 50 of them and I'm just going there with my camera just to be a journalist, because I got a camera. I'm a journalist now, right? I'm going out there with my camera to just film it. I'm not trying to start any beef, but I know they hate me. I've got to take some responsibility for what happens. The law will be the law, but the law won't bring you back if you don't make it. I'm going to close with the impression I get from this. I don't think Andy Ngo is out there for the book. I think he's a principled person just from me following him on Twitter, seeing his interviews, just following him a lot. He feels like a principled person. And I feel like he felt, I have a right to be out there as a journalist. I should be protected. And if they attack me, I will try to get away. Maybe there's a little thrill seeking in there, but I'm going to try and get away. And it just exposes even further what's happening in Portland, because the media is hiding it. Democrats are hiding it. Republicans aren't really dealing with it either. So he's bringing more light to it. It does help his profile, but I don't think he's really looking for more profile. I think he's really passionate about bringing this topic out. And maybe if he puts himself in harm's way, he would be hopefully not a martyr, but somebody who might get hurt, but bring more attention to it. He's on Fox News. He wouldn't have gone on with Fox News if he didn't get attacked. I'm not saying, I don't know if it was a publicity stunt or not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't know. I'm just saying it could be. Who knows? He did get publicity from it. And I think his goal is to get publicity. It's the same reason why I upload videos of Black Lives Matter protest rallies that go into riot and looting, because I want to bring awareness to something that's not being shown, and it should be shown. But at the end of the day, the way that we are in our society, there are no martyrs. David Dorn, the cop, stood up for what he believed in and died, and nobody gives a damn. Nobody cares. There are no martyrs to bring light to a cause. People look at Fox News and think it's some racist organization. It's just tied into the establishment, no different than CNN. They don't understand. So if you're going to be out there, you're more valuable alive, Mr. Ngo. You're more valuable alive playing chess, thinking of what's the next move, 2 moves ahead to expose this group or to help our country. You're not going to be a martyr. You saw what happened with Rush Limbaugh. They basically virtually danced on his grave. We're not even at the place where we can say rest in peace and keep it moving. Just because we disagree politically, we have to laugh, we have to make fun and do all kind of hateful things. There will be no martyrs. No one's going to die and bring more light to a cause. Take care.
Ever saw it coming at all. He never ever saw it coming at all. He never ever saw it coming at all. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright.
My homie had a friend named Melvin. Was dead, now he gracing the land like Elvis. Mel was locked down with the squillers, the killers, and the wiggers that play with little niggas like field trips. He was trying to chaperone a new idealism, writing on the papyrus in school. Popping pills was his way to escape. Born in 88, a late 80s baby with a 1990s face. See, it's hard to walk straight when you're running out of pace. Was grinding on the days to make class, bumping Dr. Dre. Under lots of pain, so sometimes he take time to fade away. Quick as yesterday, quick as no tomorrow, promise worth the Nostradamus. Used to smoke ganja with his mama's mama. Papa used to pop the lime and rhyming like Tupac, the common denominator for the drama that he go through now. Follow wasn't in the lost like Vietnam survivors bottled up in helicopter cockpits. Passion when he pop shit, laughing when he not good. Homie understood that his option was to not quit. Happy was his costume, good night, bad trip, waiting at the train stop. Melvin shot himself in the brain till the pain stopped. My homie said he feel the pain when it rained. I never saw it coming. Melvin lost trying to race time.
Never ever saw it coming at all. He never ever
This is a page from the minds of the storytellers, Penn and Teller. Fairy tale deep as Helen Keller. No umbrellas block the weather. Mary Poppins on the block with crack. True stories from the opera black.
We are ever evolving.
He had a moment where his life flashed before his very eyes. Was he blinking or was the casket closing? Asking for forgiveness for actions the Lord just witnessed. Pour some liquor for my nigga and for poor decisions. Right place, right time, however the saying go. Should've been laying low, and now he laying low. Threw the 38 up on his waist before he hopped up in that 84. Old school, sitting on the latest chrome. Vengeance on his mind like a vigilante, blind to the fact that his life will soon be ended in his prime. Popped the heater, got even, started speeding without seeing the stoplight. Blindsided, stopped breathing.